The biggest problem was I really thought that I could do it. Um, and it's not that I couldn't go in and build out a process, right? It's that I did not have the capacity to do that. And so I bit off more than I could chew. Nothing was getting done. I didn't have that, I hate to say accountability, but we meet weekly, and we both come away from the meeting with things that we need to do. And I know that next Tuesday, I better have that done. Or if I don't do this today, then you won't have what you need to get me what I need on Tuesday, right? So, and I do think that that helps because as a business owner, you are juggling so many balls that it's very easy to say, oh, well, I'm going to get to this, but another HVAC breaks or another tenant is late, or you have to, handle another eviction or name the million problems that come in, right? Um, and so the biggest problem that you solved for us was getting us in, getting our processes documented, because that is very time consuming. A lot of people are like, oh, well, we just did it up. Well, do you? Or do you do pick A, B, and C? And then where does it flow? And then where does it flow? And I think um, a huge benefit to me personally during that process was to get my brain to think in process mode, which I know it didn't. I'm like queen of the gray. So, well, it's got to be black and white to flow. And you're right, it does. Or everything's an exception and everything's a one off problem and you can't have a process. So, and then team training and team implementation as well, because, you bring back a shiny new piece of tech from a conference and you're so pumped about it and your team's like, what? And, it's something else now. Great, thank you. So to really, involve them, build out our processes, link everything together, get us thinking and talking in process speak, um, was what we needed and what you gave us. We're just staying in chaos. And then you have a frustrated team that gets burnt out. You have employee turnover, which costs and leads to more problems. I mean, it's just like a never ending snowball effect when you're not running a tight ship. I mean, it was chaos. So what was going wrong? Everything. Things weren't getting done. Things were falling through the cracks. There was no accountability. There was no way to look and see who's got a heavy load today because their department, it's end of the month, right? So how many move outs do we have? How are they overloaded? Do they need assistance today? Or oh crap, we had 20 something applications come in over the weekend. Is our leasing coordinator going to be able to touch base with every single person today? Or do we need somebody to kind of help? And then where do they need to be trained at? And how do they know how to do it? Like it just kind of having the processes in place gives you the ability to connect everything, and everything is connected. So if you have a mess in one spot and it's not cleaned up or you can't see it, then it just really spirals. Absolutely. And I feel like the gray that is a level of comfort and is something that you kind of get used to and whatever, but is not scalable at all. Um, and I think the benefit of having like you come in and get me out of the gray, right? Is I had to, when we're going through and documenting the processes, you were like, listen, you got to make some decisions here. How do you want to handle this? And so I think for people that don't have every single thing documented, like stuff lives in my head. right? And it's crapshoot on if it gets communicated out or if it gets written down or whatever. Because I'm just like off the fly all the time, which isn't great, but whatever. Um, and I think having someone go through and say, okay, well, when that happens, what do you do? What do you want to do? And it's like, well, this is what I want to do. But, and then it's documented so that other people then know, okay, this is what we do. So you don't have people asking you constant questions and, you know, their answers there and the instructions are there and how they operate is there and they're not repeating, you know, you don't have to live a groundhog day every monthly rent cycle. I feel like y'all have done a phenomenal job with continuity. So it doesn't matter who I'm getting. They're familiar with, you all do a very good job internally of bringing the team up to speed on your clients. So kudos to that because I need to learn some lessons from you on that one. But everybody's been great. And the thing that I love is that I bring like this wild idea of whatever, and they're like, okay, they digest it, troubleshoot it, follow up, ask some questions. And I'm talking about complicated processes and a lot of things like that. I'm not talking about like a basic lease renewal. But y'all got that in your sleep. But the more complicated stuff and troubleshooting and trying things out, the level of excitement that your team members get when I tell them something crazy, especially Mike, because I love him so much. Like we didn't fix we figured out pet screening and how to link that into our applications and renewal process. We have probably worked on that for about 2 years. And he figured it out with new tech that just came out, right? That can get what we need, put it where we need it, and my team no longer has to click it open to open up pet screening to look at the scores and to look at everything's there. It's automatically there. Amazing. He was happier than I was, as he should be, because he did the work. I just had the idea, which is why we work well together. We have had so much. It's fun though. Like our meetings, they're fun, and it's a relief to be able to say like, "Hey, this is my idea," and then the person you're working with is energized by figuring it out and solving that problem. Sometimes more than you are, right? Which is like awesome. Because they care. I mean, he wanted like that problem. He wanted to solve that problem, right? And we worked on it together and troubleshot some things and finally got it. Because there's a lot of tech in the industry, and being able to connect it all and make it all flow and make it all work to where you're not having to click 15 different softwares and having all these logins. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about saving, hours of work going back and forth to different things. It's just, when you can find someone or a company or whatever that can connect them all, you win hugely. It has gotten me out of the day to day a lot. Um, it has allowed me time to work on the business instead of in the business by getting out of the day to day. It's allowed me the tools to have oversight on things. Um, and I can keep a check and make sure the ball's, this train's still moving because the train cannot stop, right? But I don't have to be the one pushing it or pulling it or whatever. Um, but because of some of the filters and setups and things like that, I can go in and look and see, okay, it's 4 o'clock. Who was supposed to move out today and didn't? Mm-hmm. Who's got that? Who's on that? Who has not been had a call returned today? Do they need help with that? What do we need to push this along, close this out? So, um, it gives you more, it's given me more oversight so that I
Mm.
can let stuff go, and I can look and see, are people doing their task? And they are. And I can
Yep.
look and see how quickly they're doing it, right? So I can spot problems and give more support for like business health
Hmm.
instead of running around and, not knowing what's really going on and just putting out fires. Oh, good enough. Good enough is great. Not to get philosophical here, but I feel like a lot of that is you've got to really look into yourself and see your own shortcomings and then say, okay, I am not great at this. So I need to get someone who is so that the business doesn't suffer, right? And not to take it back to the parenting thing, but like there are things that dads are really good at. And there are things that moms are really good at. And they shouldn't be the same things. And most of the time they're not. So like, having a visionary and an integrator, having someone that's great at relationships or great with vendors or really understands whatever. I mean, I have always said I'm not a great communicator. Um, Conversationally, I'm fine, but like taking stuff in my head and putting it out there, I suck at it. I suck. But I have someone on my team that's amazing at it. And so I've gotten to the point where like something comes up, I'm like, you know what? I'm not the best person to make this decision. You need to talk to Haley about this. I said that today about a training schedule. It's like, you know what? I don't know what everyone's capacity is. And so I can't make that decision. So we should talk to Haley about that. And that was hard. But I was like, oh, look at me growing. I am cheap. And I say to you every time, take my money because it has that big of an impact on my business, on my ability to lead my team, on the service that we're able to provide, on my team's health, like with their loads and all of like it's worth every penny. And it has been for the entirety of the time that we've been working together. And I know people look at me when they're like, "How long have you been?" And I'm like, "We've had weekly meetings for 4 years." And they're like, "What?" Yes, yes. But I won't pay for a pro subscription on something else that's like $20 a month because I'm too cheap. But then take it because it brings that much value to my business, and the processes that y'all have built has saved me like employees. I don't have to hire certain positions because the processes are so built out that they can be run by less people. I don't need as many maintenance coordinators. We've got 700 properties. I have one maintenance coordinator. She's able to run everything. So do it.